Hello, I'm Clare Kay, podcast host of Moving Countries 101, and I've jumped online today because I want to talk about turbulence in the air and the concerns that I have actually about how we fly as passengers in today's world at the moment. And I want to talk also about just things I've learned as cabin crew about how easy it is to stay safe in the air as a passenger, and ironically how easy it is as a passenger to be the one who can derail that safety. And essentially, once we're all in the air in the plane, we are a community. We might not interact very much with one another, we might not talk very much with one another, but nonetheless we are a community, and we all have one simple endeavour in mind, and that is that we all get from A to B timely and safely. At the risk of sounding like a preacher teacher, I actually just want to share from my experiences, both as crew and as a passenger, about some of the things we can do where we really look out for one another. And this is simply inspired because of recent experiences that I've personally had where I didn't feel safe. And I don't wish that for me, and I don't wish that for you. Things can change on a dime. Things can change in an instant. And I had an experience as cabin crew, flight attendant, on board an aircraft going into Europe, where the flight was smooth. It was like a mill pond. It was just such a delightful flight. And then I could not tell you what happened. I'm really clear it is the fault of absolutely no one, and it's only something that was a freak of nature. But there was literally a blip, literally a second of movement, and I was thrown up into the air. I did manage to break my fall, but I ended up really damaging my right foot. I was unable to walk for a number of weeks, literally walk. My walking came back very, very slowly, and I did think I was going to end up limping for, possibly for the rest of my life, because it took ages for my foot to heal. But there are many things that are done to ensure that never happens to us. And yet, constantly, passengers put themselves at risk, and I can't understand why. So how we can really look after ourselves, I can say in a nutshell: follow instructions. Instructions that are verbal, said over the tannoy system, said directly in person from cabin crew to passenger, or that are conveyed in a physical form, like the seatbelt sign coming on or the seatbelt sign coming off. When the seatbelt sign is off, for example, on the ground, when an aircraft is being refueled, if they need us to leave the plane, they don't want us buckled up. They want us to be able to get out of the plane quickly because the plane is stationary and they might need us to move quickly. But up in the air or takeoff and landing, seatbelt signs are on for a reason. And I just find it extraordinary that I was on a domestic flight across America. I will not name the airline, but I am not keen to fly with them again, where the captain diligently explained the situation, that we were entering some turbulence, put the seatbelt signs on, explained, asked us to stay seated. I have nothing to say about the efficiency of how I was instructed. But within moments, passengers were getting up, they were changing seats, they were getting things out of overhead lockers, they were asking other people to move so that they themselves could go to the bathroom. It was absolutely stunning. And I'm not talking about one or two people, I'm talking about quite a lot of people. So I did really realise that we've become so maybe confident and, dare I say it, complacent about air travel that we think, and I don't mean to be rude to anybody, but we think we know best. We think we can assess the situation. And we certainly saw this as crew. Whenever the seatbelt signs were on, no matter the class, if somebody got up to go to the bathroom, we would intervene and say, please take your seats. And if they said no, we would then just say, in my particular airline, there are different rules in different situations, but in my particular airline, we would say, we need to advise that we would recommend you sit down and you are moving at your own risk. And often we would get quite flippant responses, like nothing's going to happen, it's fine. And I remember the number of withering looks I would get when somebody knew better. And I would think, wow, there is a reason we go through weeks and weeks of training and have to pass exams every year. And when we are in training, we have to pass stages of exams to go to the next stage. Why would we have to go through all this only to you to know better? But hey, okay, knock yourself out. But hey, literally, I don't want you to knock yourself out. So, it's kind of like, just follow the instruction, really, because that way you stay safe. And invariably, the seatbelt signs don't stay on indefinitely. Turbulence is one of those things that it happens due to weather conditions and things like that. And captains go to immense effort to bypass a storm or whatever might be triggering the turbulence. But inevitably, there will be a little bit of backlash, so to speak. There will be some turbulence ebbing and flowing our way. Now, there are a few people, cabin crew included, who like turbulence, who thrive off it. And there are many of you who are like me. I can't stand turbulence, even though I was cabin crew for a major prestigious airline and got used to it. It was not something that I enjoyed or thrived off or was comfortable in. And it made me a good person to talk to fellow passengers because I could be really honest and say, look, I don't like it either, and this is how it is, and it is okay. And, just listen to the instructions. I think there's a myth that where people think if something really bad is going to happen in the air, we're all going to die anyway. So, and it's so not true. There are times, there are situations which don't necessarily hit the press, by the way, where something happens and where all is well. People are evacuated safely, or the plane lands safely, or whatever happens, it is safe. And one of the things that makes it safe is the adherence of the passengers to the crew instructions, whether that's instructions from flight crew or from cabin crew, adherence to just observing the signs that are lit up for us to follow. And I just say this because I want all of us to travel. I want all of us to stay safe. And when we travel, there's always headaches with our journeys. Your luggage might not arrive, and, there's a whole array of things that can happen that you don't want to happen. So it makes so much sense if we can do our bit to just have everybody have a safe flight. So I could go on and give you some funny and alarming anecdotal stories. I have quite a few, but in the meantime, I really just want to say, let's all look out for one another. Let's empower our cabin crew and our flight crew, and let's stay safe and look out for one another. And let's not ask someone when the seatbelt sign is on to get up to go to the bathroom. Thank you. Thank you for listening.